this world, I'm a cute little fairy, able to fly around and use a magical wand. But now, all fairy lives are in danger as Valeria, the Dark Fairy Queen, has stolen our wands and magical power source that grants us all of our magic. Luckily, I have a small magical gem that has 100 days of magical energy left in it. As I'm the only fairy able to harpen this power, I must go on a mission to find the Dark Fairies and retrieve our power source before all of my fairy friends and myself lose their powers forever. To find Valeria, I must go on a series of quests, encountering terrifying bosses, each of which hold a key to a magical locator device. Will I be able to find the Dark Fairies before my 100 days are up? Keep watching to find out. Day 1 and my time was already ticking. My magical gem only has 100 days of power source left in it, so I'm on a bit of a schedule. I'm joined by my pet Pixie. Isn't she just the cutest? She may be a bit frightening to look at with that little smile, but it's okay. I stopped by this nearby magical forest to see if there was anything useful. Here, there were sprites, dryades, and gnomes. I greeted some of them because I'm polite, and then I barged into their hut uninvited. I noticed a jukebox, and although I was on a time limit, I think I have some time to listen to some tunes. I also snatched this bed up. Shh, don't tell them. This is between you and me. After collecting some materials, I flew off to embark on my mission. Right by the village, there was a dragon nest. Now, a normal logical person would avoid this type of situation, but I am not normal nor logical, so here I am, collecting all of the loot it holds, which honestly wasn't all that much. I guess I can't really expect dragons to really be rolling in the dough. It's not like they have jobs. Hi, Pixie. Hi, dragon. Okay, so the dragon is kind of just chilling. Maybe he's nice. Okay, he's definitely not nice. Let's get closer. Hello, sir. Oh, okay. That's my cue. Oh my god. Nope. After nearly dying, a long chase began. Is this really happening? A dragon fairy chase? I flew as fast as my little fairy wings could manage, but this dragon was way faster than me. The fire dragon flew after me for the entire day. Just as I thought I had lost him, I turned around and he spit fire at me, which hit the nearby mountain. I honestly think I would have been better off getting away from him on foot, but flying is way more fun. I flew around everywhere in search of a cave to dive into, but I was completely out of luck. Okay, maybe if I fly through here, I'll lose him. Wait, is he gone? I did it! After diving my way through the mountainside, I was able to finally lose him. However, I had lost something else. All of my hunger. Raw beef, yum. Now it was finally time to grab the essentials. Wood. I didn't want to need to break down trees later, so I cleared out a good bit of this area to avoid the future dilemma. Next, I made some tools, collected some cobble, and then I made even better tools. While collecting my stuff, I noticed a skeleton, and just as he began shooting, I flew away, dodging his arrow that likely would have killed me. I was still near the magical forest, so I decided to go back in order to sleep there for the night safely. Now, I was out of hunger and had 2.5 hearts, which is a bit of an issue. While searching for food, I instead found this building with a shipwreck. After breaking my way inside, I found some pretty nice treasure. Nearby was a village, and this village had haystacks. Thank God. I honestly thought I was gonna die of hunger because of the lack of edible animals. Okay, wait, that sounded weird. Edible animal, like you guys know what I mean. Anyway, I collected the haystacks and I crafted some bread. Next to the village was a graveyard, so I decided to check it out to see if there was anything valuable. As I was checking, I was attacked by a ghost. Pixie attempted to help, but she was a bit useless. I went back and I told Pixie to help me this time, and she tried her best. After killing some sheep, I came across this large town area where there seemed to be goblins. I was told that the Goblin King holds the magical locator device needed to find Valeria and the other dark fairies. I decided to craft some better armor, and I spotted some chests nearby. It was likely one of those chests that held the compass. I didn't have a way to fight them from a distance, so I ran straight to the chest to see what was inside. While being attacked, I managed to grab some materials from one of the chests that had some valuable ores inside. With this, I would be able to craft my magic wand that Valeria had stolen. These goblins would not let up, so I quickly crafted the wand while being attacked. I then began using my magical wand to fight off all the goblins. There were soldiers, shamans, and normal goblins. Suddenly though, the king came out and he began attacking me as well. I did my best to get in as many shots as possible with my wand. The shamans kept using their magic to cast strange spells on me, causing me to be unable to move. I realized the king himself was casting some type of spell that would spawn in even more goblins. Totally unfair. The king got me low so many times, but I had nowhere to run. Pixie and I fought long and hard, but we eventually defeated him. I went through each of the chests, and inside one was Fae Navigator. After collecting it, I realized it gave me a set of coordinates to follow. Could this be Valeria's location? More importantly though, cake. I found cake! I like cake. My armor had suffered a good bit, so I crafted some new armor. I then flew around for a while trying to locate a place to build my house. I found this cute little flowered forest area that had beautiful water scenery. However, right beside it was another dragon nest. Suddenly, I found myself in another chase from this dragon. He spit fire at me, nearly killing me. On foot, I began shooting my wand at him, and he finally died. I then went and collected the materials from the chests. It was time for me to build my house, so I collected some wood from the forest. I also went and collected a whole bunch of dirt because I was going to be building floating islands for my house. I finally began constructing my new home. After building some of the island, I decided I didn't like this spot. I collected some clay to make bricks, and I went to a nearby cave to collect some coal. Here, I realized my wand doesn't work in caves, so I used my sword instead to fight the mobs. I also traveled to a desert in order to collect some sandstone for my home. There, I nearly suffocated from the sand. A few times, actually. After Pixie and I killed the skeleton, a small goblin trader approached me. Much friendlier than the other goblins. I looked through his trades and I traded some iron. And then, Pixie... bad. Construction of my house then began. After a good bit of building, I realized I absolutely hated what I was creating, and I completely restarted. This is how my house ended up looking. Pixie and I then went mining for diamonds. She really wanted the spider, but the poor girl just couldn't reach him. After being attacked by these mobs, she helped save my life. Pixie was really great though about protecting me from mobs. After collecting some diamonds, I crafted a diamond pickaxe, and I mined some obsidian for an enchantment table and portal. Back home, I crafted an anvil and attempted to name Pixie with the name tag from the mine shaft. But she's already named Pixie. Nice, Lindsay, good job. I then upgraded my armor and sword into diamond ones to prepare for my next battle. I made an enchantment table and I did some light enchants on my armor and tools. Next, it was time for me to locate the first boss to obtain the next piece to the locator device. I traveled to the coordinates, which led me to this terrifying castle. For some reason, my wings didn't work here, which would make this fight much more difficult. I walked up the stairs, and it was a long way. I approached the castle entrance with Pixie by my side. I was terrified for what was to come. This place was huge. In the nearby distance, I noticed some bones of huge creatures, which definitely did not help my nerves. I told Pixie to stay behind because I didn't want her to get hurt. In the entrance, there were some people who had been turned into stone, and upon entering, I realized this was Medusa's castle. She immediately began attacking me, and she made me completely blind and unable to move. I began using my wand to attack her, but her bow poisoned me, shredding away at my health. She also was able to send some kind of mystical purple force at me that did tons of damage. I continued fighting her to the best of my ability. I ate a golden apple to try to prevent myself from dying, which I think saved my life. She got closer and hit me before also freezing me into space. I ate another golden apple as I was getting super low again. Finally, with one more shot from my wand, I defeated her. I looked inside the chest, which had some emerald, gold, diamonds, and the next piece for the Fae Navigator. The Navigator now gave me a new set of coordinates. I decided to put all these stone people out of their misery as well. I was so happy to see Pixie, and I decided to take a look around this dark kingdom. I approached the bones, which seemed to have belonged to... I have no idea, but it is very large. Wow, the castle looks kind of beautiful from down here. I continued exploring, finding this little cave system, which had beautiful lights and some more large sets of bones. After making my way out of Medusa's kingdom, I found myself in the company of little jelly creepers. They began exploding one by one. You guys are kind of cute. Hi. Oh, okay. I honestly felt bad for them. They were just so cute and I wanted us to be friends. I traveled back to the magical forest where I found a cute unicorn. Hello! Oh my god, look at us. We're so cute. Oops. I somehow accidentally hit him though and he began attacking me. So I had no choice but to hit back. He dropped his unicorn horn and... Oh. Now I'm sad. Now that I had his horn though, I could craft a special sword, but I still needed petals, so I would have to trade diamonds with the diarids. I was in need of each colored petal to craft the horn, so I traded with each type of diarid. I flew back home and I crafted the Grove Cutter, which was really strong, like 14 attack damage strong. Okay, this thing looks amazing. After admiring the sword for a bit, I began constructing the next bit of my home. I wanted to make a cow farm, so I began building another island. After doing so, I led 3 cows up to the bridge I'd built, and I made them love each other. Next, I wanted a crop farm, so I did the same thing on the other side. I planted a tea seed, black beans, watermelons, carrots, and wheat. I also added some waterfalls all around each island, followed by some lanterns hanging from each to brighten up the area some. I decided it was time to fight the next boss, so Pixie and I traveled to the next location, which was a giant forest with a huge, beautiful tree. How could anything bad be living here? After finding the boss in the distance, I sat Pixie down and I told her to stay. The boss was named the Gloomy Wood Troll. He hit the ground with a very large stick, causing all of the blocks to fly up into the air. He began attacking Pixie, so I ran in with my sword to protect her. His hits did so much damage, and he got me low so many times, getting me to 1 heart at one point. I continued hitting him with my wand before he finally died. Okay, that was kinda sad. I'm sorry. I didn't have my wings in this location, so I had to climb up the entire tree in order to retrieve the locator device piece. Inside was a god apple, some netherite ingots, and the locator device. I went ahead and crafted the next version of the device, which gave me a new set of coordinates. I think Pixie got a bit jealous of these raccoons, but I threw them some bread anyway, which they ran off with. She then gave me a deadly death glare. Scary. While flying around, I came across some orcas, which I decided to take a quick swim with, which was fun. I went to the coordinates on the device, but there was nothing there. I looked around everywhere, but there was absolutely no boss or monster, so I was really confused. After a bit of searching, I went back home to try to figure out what the issue could be. I realized it was possible that the next boss was not in this world, so I decided to build a portal. I dug out a little area in the mountain to build the nether portal. But I was 1 obsidian short. So after going back to the caves to collect it, I went back and I lit up the portal. I absolutely did not want Pixie coming, so I sat her down and I entered the portal for the first time. Upon being teleported, I immediately began being attacked by these strange fire creatures. After killing it, I took a look around and I realized how beautiful the nether was. However, there were also terrifying monsters, like this wither snake creature. I flew around a bit before finding this weird construction. Upon entering, I found some levers, and after clicking them, I realized there were traps set up here. Inside the chest was some mediocre loot. Eventually, I found another construction, and after killing all of the piglins, I began collecting the, also, not-so-great loot. After finding a fortress, I decided I might as well collect some blaze rods while I was here. I continued exploring the nether, and I noticed this terrifying pyramid in the distance. I approached it, and inside was a chest. I opened the chest, and TNT immediately was set off. Luckily, I was able to fly away before being hit and falling into the lava. I decided to go mining for some netherite, but I didn't have any beds or a strong pickaxe. So I quickly gave up on this idea. Diamond armor is good enough. I later found this beautiful lost city, and there was nobody living here. So I decided to take some of the items in order to decorate my home. I traveled to the coordinates on the locator device, and I found myself in this terrifying location. Nope, no way. This is not happening. The next boss was Cerberus, the three-headed hound. After approaching him, he instantly began attacking me with incredibly heavy hits. He swung his body all the way down, taking a good chunk of my health. Aw, is that Puppy Chow? Ow! He was so strong, but I fought back as hard as I could. Finally, I defeated him. Inside the chest was raw beef, and the next key. After arriving back home alive, I was super happy to see Pixie again. I flew over to my house and I began decorating with some of the items I had collected from the nether. I then traveled to the next location, which was a witch's hut. Witches and fairies don't necessarily get along with each other, but we have done some deals in the past. Inside the hut was the witch living there. She told me she would give me what I needed if I were to do something for her. She wanted the Ender Dragon's head and egg in return, which was something I could do. I agreed to the deal and I traveled back to the nether in order to trade for Ender Pearls. However, first I found another castle-type place, which was filled with tons of chests and valuable items, but it was also filled with spawners of different monsters. While collecting some of the loot, I nearly died to wither skeletons, but I was able to make it out alive. After finding some piglins to trade with, I gave them my gold and I waited patiently. Next, it was time to travel to the stronghold. After finally finding the stronghold and portal, I was one eye short because of losing a few along the way. I traveled back home to collect the leftover blaze powder in order to craft another, and then I traveled back to the portal. After inserting the eye, I took a deep breath and I jumped in. I was super nervous because I had no idea how effective my wand would be on the dragon. After making it there, I began flying to each of the power sources and hitting them one by one. After destroying all of them, the battle with the dragon began. Last hit, I killed him. But unfortunately, sometimes when I last hit something with my wand, it doesn't drop its intended experience, and yeah, he just kind of went poof. I collected his egg though, but I still needed his head. The end was gorgeous, and being able to fly, it gave me such a good look at all the beautiful biomes. Finally, I found the Inn City, and I wasn't too interested in the loot here. I collected the Elytra, although I don't really know why, and I collected the dragon's head. I also put it on. Chomp, 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 chomp. Back in the overworld, I found the witch and I delivered to her what she had asked for. She also gave me a book. Inside, there were a set of coordinates. She explained that this was where I could find Valeria. She also told me of a recipe that would allow me to upgrade my wand, but I would need the Nether Star in order to do so. I remembered back to the castle in the Nether that had the Wither skeleton spawner, so I traveled back and I began fighting them in order to collect 3 Wither skeleton heads. After nearly dying a few times, I collected all 3 heads. Back home, I mined down and I mined out an area to spawn the Wither. But well, this is awkward. I tried removing more blocks and tried placing the heads again, which worked this time. I waited patiently for the Wither to spawn. However, he just kind of died. Honestly, I don't know what just happened, especially since my wand doesn't work in caves, but that's okay for me, I guess. I still almost did die from the initial explosion though. After collecting the star and going back home, I crafted the Skyward Staff, which would be more powerful, and it was also able to reach further distances. After collecting the book from the witch, I traveled to the location, which ended up being a giant floating island with some type of castle. I explored the island a bit, discovering that it contained incredibly OP loot, which I gladly took all of. I honestly could not even believe a place like this existed, as everything here was super valuable. And this little pond was a chest, and after opening it, I discovered full netherite with some very insane enchants. I collected it and of course put it on. When trying to enter the castle, a whole bunch of dark fairies began attacking me. After killing a few, I entered, but there were dozens of them. I used my magical staff to fight them off, but there were so many of them and I was overwhelmed. After I finally killed all of the dark fairies, I needed to find Valeria and the magical fairy source. After some wandering around, I finally found a passageway in the tree. I mean, I should have known, but it's fine, it's whatever. After dropping down, I found myself in a little room with a couple of chests. I walked through the doors and I found this lever right away. After switching it on, I was able to open the chest, which had tons of golden apples. Over in this room were enchanted golden apples and shulker shells. I continued exploring the puzzle rooms, eventually finding this room that had a lever that opened a passageway to drop down into the ocean. Next to it was another incredibly OP chest. I honestly didn't even know what to take at this point. Suddenly, a zombie began attacking me, but my armor gave him no chance. After some more exploring, I found a chest with dragon heads in it. Chomp chomp. I eventually came across this hole and I was able to see the entire area. I made my way back to the tunnels, but there were hoglins on spiders waiting for me. Luckily, I was able to kill them pretty easily. After a ton more exploring, I found this hole leading down a glass tube. I decided to swim through it to see what was on the other side. There, I immediately saw the fairy power source. But then I also spotted Valeria, the dark fairy queen. I ran into the room, but she immediately began viciously attacking me. The battle had begun. Valeria was strong, so I threw a potion of harm on her, but it seemed to do nothing. She continued using her powers on me to shed through my health, and I seemed to be no match against her strong powers. She was even able to trap me into the ground with her soul sand. She followed up with a series of purple orbs that took me below half health. I continued using my wand and sword to fight her off as much as I could. Eventually, I was able to defeat her. I now had the magical power source back in my possession. After traveling back home, I greeted Pixie. I I needed to find a safe place to put the power source, and I'm not really sure right beside my bed was the right move, but that's where it went. Thank you all so much for going on this adventure with me. As always, please subscribe if you enjoyed, and also be sure to follow me on all my socials linked down below. I also want to give a special thanks to all of my YouTube members: Bucket, Dragon Chaser, Fox vs. You, Aespa, Athena, and Rise. Be sure to comment down below what you would like to see next, and keep an eye out for episode 1 of my 1.18 Let's Play series.